Hey everybody, Avi Abelo from IsraelInWire.com, and we actually have an update. Things are moving forward in the Israeli election cycle, even though it really hasn't moved anywhere at all. What am I talking about? Well, in Israel, the president, who is right now President Rubi Rivlin, he is the one who gives over to the person with the best ability to make a government, to make a governing coalition of 61 majority in a parliament of 120. He gives that person the responsibility to make a government, to make a coalition government. And even though the Blue and White Party have 33 seats and Likud has 31 seats, because Bibi Netanyahu, the head of the Likud, has a better chance of putting together a government than Gantz and the Blue and White Party, President Rubi Rivlin officially gave over the responsibility to Bibi Netanyahu, the head of the Likud government, to make the next government. Now, so that is the update. However, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will probably not succeed in making a government. He is saying that he hopes to make a unity government, and believe it or not, President Rubi Rivlin came up with an unbelievable compromise for both the Blue and White Party and Likud to rule together, basically making Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Benny Gantz both co-prime ministers, something that's unheard of, never been done in any country, basically allowing both of them to be prime ministers at the same time. Bibi Netanyahu agreed to that compromise, and Benny Gantz, the head of the Blue and White Party, rebuffed that compromise. Okay, that is a very, very important piece of information to go on. So again, moving through all this spin and information out there, even though there was so much excitement by the anti-Bibi movement, that's exactly what the Blue and White Party is. It is an anti-Bibi Netanyahu movement. The only thing that brought the heads of four different segments or different little parties together, Benny Gantz, Yair Lapid, Bughi Ya'alon, Gabi Ashkenazi, the only thing that brought all of those four people together to make the Blue and White Party was a hatred of Bibi and getting rid of him and toppling him. That's the only thing that brought them together. And even though they were excited that they got 33 seats, they can't make a government. And for Bibi Netanyahu, he could make a government, but one, Blue and White is rebuffing sitting with him. And Avigdor Lieberman, the head of the Yisrael Beitenu party, is also rebuffing to sit with him in a government. So Bibi Netanyahu probably will not be able to make a government. Blue and White probably will then get the chance to make a government. They will probably fail to make a government. Unless something really surprising happens, we are going to third elections, which is nuts. Not happening yet, but that's what it's sort of looking like. Now, what's the problem? The problem with today's Israeli elections is all of a sudden you have everyone, you have all these different, you have these parties on the left that are basically boycotting the ability to sit with other parties. You have Blue and White boycotting to sit with Likud if Bibi Netanyahu is at the head of it. You have Avigdor Lieberman boycotting sitting with the Haredi parties, even though it's not the ultra-Orthodox parties, even though it's really very little to do with the ultra-Orthodox, and more not to sit with Bibi because he wants to get rid of Bibi. Things don't look so good. And what saddens me so, it really saddens me so, because the true state of the Jewish people in the land of Israel today is more unified on the ground than ever before. You have ultra-Orthodox going to the workforce more than ever before, working and coming into contact with things secular. You have more ultra-Orthodox going to the army than ever before, again coming into contact with secular. You have a feeling on the ground of unity in most of the Jewish Israeli population, even with the Arab Muslims that live in Israel. Many of them feel part of Israeli society, even though many of them support destroying Israel. But that's another video. But again, The election results do not reflect and do an injustice to the true situation of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. And it is so sad because we are in such trying and challenging times. And there are so many challenges Israel has to deal with on the geopolitical scene with Iran. Iran is running Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran is running Hamas in Gaza. Iran's trying to develop forces in Syria so that it's surrounding Israel to destroy Israel. They are trying to develop weapon systems and rocket systems in Judea and Samaria as we speak. Just headline news: Israel, a Palestinian Authority with Israel caught. And that's another interesting thing, that it was the Palestinian Authority, that they caught Hezbollah cells trying to build missiles in Judea and Samaria. This is huge. We have the President of the United States, Donald Trump, the most supportive president of Israel, understanding how critical the relationship and a strong Israel is to America and America's interests. And we have all these challenges in the country. We have the challenges of a Supreme Court that is ruining the balance of democracy. They have overstepped their role in basically taking away powers from the legislative and the executive branches. That needs to be dealt with. So many things. And yes, there are issues in Israel that to help Israeli society and the different segments of Israeli society. And every society always needs that. No society is ever perfect. But on the ground, there is more unity between the Jewish people, the different segments of society, and the Arabs and non-Jews who live with us than any time before. But yet, if you look at the political situation and you see different parties, and right now they're all on the left mostly, boycotting the ability to sit with other parties, and us unable to come up with a functioning government to rule and take care of Israel, the state of Israel, the people of Israel, the citizens of Israel, Jews and non-Jews alike, properly in these trying, challenging times, it makes it look as if we're a divided society. There are divisions, but we are not a divided society. We are a very unified society, and it's leaders who are dividing the society. It's journalists with their headlines who are dividing society. But on the ground, religious, not religious, ultra-Orthodox, even Arab, there is more unity within the Jewish people and within the citizens of Israel today than ever before. And it saddens me so much that it's at the political level, and with the help of the journalists and the media looking to sell advertising revenue, that true picture is not given across. So here we are. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been given the responsibility by the president to form a government. It will be miraculous if he succeeds, but again, he has better chance of putting together a government than Benny Gantz of the Blue and White Party. So it looks more and more that we're going to third elections, which is crazy, unless crazy things happen. But again, I want to put aside the politics and focus on the most important message. The Jewish people are home. The Jewish people are strong. We have a strong will to survive and make our society and the world a better place. And that is what we're doing each and every day. Even though there are imperfections in our society, but 95% of everything that's going on is good and of unity on the ground and doing unbelievable things for one another. Ultra-Orthodox doing for secular doing for the whole society, religious doing for everybody. We are a beautiful, giving society, doing so much for one another and the world. And that's what I want people to remember, and not to focus as much on the craziness of the political situation. So thanks for watching, everyone. Signing off from the ancestral homeland and eternal homeland of the Jewish people, here the Judean Hills. Shalom. And share, share, share.